It's time for your number one NAIA men's basketball podcast to begin as the Road to Muni podcast with Junior and Coach Lovers begins now.
Hello, NAIA Hoops Nation, and welcome to the Round of 16 preview show. Coach, as you can see, this is not a fake screen behind me anymore. This is an actual view from inside Municipal Auditorium as we're just the evening before the first games on Thursday. We have, I say opening round action, but round of 16 action Thursday and Friday. The teams that open up on Thursday have to win 4 games in 6 days, and the ones on Friday have to win 4 games in 5 days. And I say that to open up because is this not the best tournament in the country, Coach?
It is. It's a heck of a deal. So and it's a great weekend as you get out to Municipal. We've been talking about it all year, and now these teams come and showdown now for the next week or so, a little bit shy of a week, and should be some phenomenal games. There's great teams, great coaches, all across the board. Some really cool storylines, and should be a really fun several days of hoops out in Kansas City.
Yeah, the cool part about it is, and I know that everybody's been asking about this for years now. Every game here in the round of 16 and all the way through the championship game will be free of charge. So no excuses not to watch. I know a lot of people are excited about it. You can, I believe it's on the NEI network as well as the Urban Edge network. You can download the app, I believe, to view those, Coach. But starting with just opening out of the gates here, Coach. You alluded to it a little bit, but as a 16-team field here, I think it's a really fun mix of some veteran groups that have been here almost every year since the merger, and then we got some newbies here too. And I think it brings a lot of fun, no matter if you're used to cheering some of these teams like Georgetown and College of Idaho, Grace, who have been here, I believe, 4 straight years, or the newbies like Kaiser and Southern Oregon and teams like that. That makes it a lot of fun, just the diversity of teams that are here.
Yeah, no, it really does, and what a great experience for those kids. As they're coming into that arena, and some schools that we have play in pretty big buildings, right? But nothing like the one you're sitting in right now, and so it's a great opportunity, and kind of reminds me of the Hoosiers clips, right? When they go to like the rim is still 10 feet, and
Yep.
It is interesting to see how shooting can be affected in an arena that big, and sometimes style of play does come into account too. But great experience for all the kids and coaches, and just the NAIA does such a good job putting that whole tournament on.
One of the cool parts about this year that we added in, we always try to grow a little bit, and talking with the NEI and our partnership with them, we have a new segment with 94 feet, and I think it's good. One to start off with, we're going to bring tournament director Austin Bennett on as our first one in 94 feet series. 94 feet inside Muni. I'm with the NAIA Director of Championships, Austin Bennett. Austin, I'm glad that we get a meet up again on 94 feet segment this year. What's the tournament in Kansas City been like for you guys and hosting all these years and being able to continue to bring it back?
Yeah, I think it's unrivaled when it comes to a college basketball tournament, especially when you get to a final side or championship format. Just the history in this building, what kind of the aura it puts out is really cool. And it's really great that we get 16 teams each year to come here and experience this, and for one team to live out a dream and win a national title.
Yeah, and it's kind of a fun grouping of 16 this year. You got a lot of teams that have been here, some teams for 4 years straight, and some teams on the first trip to the round of 16 here in Kansas City. Is it cool to see a lot of new teams, a lot of new faces this year?
It is. It's always great to see whoever comes, but yeah, when you get to see those that are back to maybe correct something from the previous years, get a little bit further, or those teams that are for the first time realizing their dream of coming to Kansas City to play for a national title. It's cool to see both sides.
Yeah, one of the cool stories that we told yesterday, it'll be aired later today. The sponsors, we have a lot of good ones, a lot of ones that repeat as people come through multiple times. Georgetown, their sponsors, Kissick Construction, go through and actually go out to Kentucky to watch their games. What does the sponsors mean to this event?
It means a ton, both from a financial side, but then also just an extension of our host staff. To have that honorary coach program is huge. When the teams come in, they show them great hospitality. They take them to dinner. They teach them or tell them about Kansas City things to do. So having that program has been huge for us. It's great to have some for as many as 50 years, 30 years, things like that be a part of it. And so it's part of what makes our tournament what it is.
Well, I know you're basically running tournaments all year round. What are you doing when you're not? What's your favorite hobby when you're not running tournaments or preparing for one?
Yeah, I've got a little girl now, so that takes up a lot of my time.
Yep.
I pretend to be a golfer. I love watching sports, so whether it's Chiefs, Royals, whatever it is, something on TV with sports is usually taking up my time.
Well, I pretend to be a golfer too, but that's 94 feet inside Muni, director of championships, Austin Bennett. A blast, and like you said, NAIA does a great job of hosting this, and obviously a historical building here. I mean, I sat through the player symposium earlier today, and it was just cool to hear all the names that have played here, the coaches that have coached in this building. I mean, it's just a fantastic building, and Kansas City's a great host as well. We'll get you out here one of these years, Coach. I know you and your son. I hope we can get you out here for so you can be in here as part of our interview as well. But last year we had a 14 to 15 seed in Central Baptist and Evangel advance here. This year, we had a lot of chalk in the opening rounds, and the highest, we have 2 11 seeds coming through, this year. And I think that, as you watch both of those 11 seeds late in the year, I don't think either one's a shock that they got here. Maybe, how they got here, but I don't think it's a shock that either team is here. And even a 7 seed like Kaiser, who got a host a spot, one of the better games in the opening round with William Woods. As a 7 seed. So you got a 7 and 2 11s here, but I don't think there's anybody that you would consider a complete shock that's here right now.
No, and I honestly, I think by the time you get to this point in the season, it's rarely, if ever, is somebody that shows up in Kansas City a fluke. They've earned it. They've made their way there, and maybe they might have had a few more bumps and bruises than some of the other people that are there. But and like you said, you got two teams like Kaiser and Southern Oregon going at each other is kind of cool. One of those teams is going to be in the Elite Eight, and I don't know that we would have said that a few weeks ago, right? So that's pretty cool and a good opportunity. And so, and like we've talked about, the seeding in the NAIA is not always quite as true as what you see in Division I. So an 11 seed doesn't always mean what it means, and neither does a 7. So a lot of really, really good teams, and everyone that's there earned it and belongs there, and it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and I mentioned that the action will start up tomorrow on Thursday. So today, as you're watching this, but 1, 3, 5, and 7 Central Time. It'll be the left side of the bracket, so it'll be the Naismith quadrant and the Kramer quadrant going at it. The first game is going to be the 1 p.m. matchup, Arizona Christian Cumberlands, who it's hard to say that there's any bad game when you're in the round of 16, Coach, but as I walk through these matchups, I as much as you want to say seed line or whatever it is, like throw out the seeds right now. These are some big time matchups. The 3 p.m. game is Grace and St. Mary Woods, 2 Indiana schools going at it. You kind of got I don't want to say David versus Goliath here, but because St. Mary Woods has earned a spot, obviously, but they're one of the 11 seeds that's in here, and what they're doing with that program, and I think it's only the second or third year of the NEI here, with little resources is very, very cool. I think it as a quote unquote David, just from the resources that you have, it's really cool to see a team win with little resources like they have, and they've been able to do it for back-to-back years now. Not to Kansas City, but they've won back-to-back years here.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone was tuning in the other night. My mighty Denver Nuggets went out to Golden State, and you look on the bench, and you got Jokic sitting there, and Jamal Murray sitting there, and Christian Braun sitting there, and oops, the Warriors took them a little lightly and ended up losing, right? The team that gets favored. So I don't think that's one of the things that coaches have to battle at this time of year is kind of this belief, and I don't think Grace guys will come into it with that at all. I mean, they're a very tempered group and have a lot of humility, but they are 18 to 22-year-olds for the most part, and sometimes they might look across, go, oh, we got this team, right? And then whoops, No, you don't. And so everybody's got to show up with an edge. Everybody's got to show up prepared. I know Grace will do that, but this team belongs there too, and I would expect they're going to come out swinging. They're not going.
Yeah,
They're there
yeah.
to
I
win
mean,
too. They're not there to
yeah,
just
no,
hang out. So
yeah.
yeah,
They didn't come. They come all the way this way to say that they're happy to be here. That's for sure. And I know
yeah,
I'll bring. Was able to catch up with Coach easily from Life Further this week, and that was one of the things, or earlier today, and that was one of the things he said too. And you'll see that interview here in a minute. But one of the things he said, it's nice to be here, but they didn't come here just be basically to have fun. I mean, they're here to win and compete, and
yeah,
I think that's the mindset for everybody here. And it's okay to have fun, enjoy yourself, and enjoy the moment too. But I think once game day's here, and once you're in film sessions and all that kind of things that are going on behind the scenes. I think the mindset's
yeah,
completely different than some of the things you get dragged to. I don't want to say dragged in a bad word, but some of the things that maybe pull you away from being completely locked
yeah,
in. So
yeah. What's your favorite game of day one?
yeah, so I was getting to that. So the 5
Oh,
p.m.
sorry,
game of College.
steal your thunder.
No, you're good. 5 p.m. game of College of Idaho and Langston. This was a great matchup a couple years ago in the tournament. It'll be interesting to see if Langston's fully healthy. I know Monroe was banged up and didn't play in their game to get here. But fully healthy. I mean, I think it's a Langston team that went really closed the season really well. And again, they've been battling injuries all year, so a lot of these teams, if they're full strength, and I don't mean just like knick-knack injuries. I mean, if their players are actually playing in the game, this is going to be a really good matchup. I really like these two, two passionate coaches who, get the best out of their players and coach a very animated way, but a very fun way. And I think that, both sets of sets of players really react to their coaching. And I think that's one of the fun parts of the 5 p.m. game. So maybe not my favorite matchup, but maybe my favorite coaching matchup of the
Yeah,
entire first day on Thursday. And then
yeah,
just follow up to 7 p.m. Just to close it up as Georgetown Northwestern and Alex Van Kalsbeek making his return in the opening rounds. It was really, really good to see. And I just like this Georgetown team as a good defensive team. I think in the tournament, and a high powered offense in Northwestern College, but a team that went up against Huntington in the game to get here in the round of 32. Huntington is similar to Georgetown in the style of play, so it's gonna be a lot of fun to see some of these matchups, but also like the styles of play clash against each other.
yeah, yeah. No, and I think that's one I was going to highlight for me is that 7 p.m. one. I think it's really just an interesting balance of matchups, and it's always interesting to see teams that are kind of that high power offense, how that shows up in Muni versus the teams that really hang their hat on the defensive end. So
Yep.
not that Northwestern can't defend, but it's just a really bit different styles, and so it'll be fun to watch that one play out. But all of those are really intriguing matchups on day one for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if there's any bad matchups. It's hard at
No,
this time of year, but certainly, depending on what you like, if you like really good defense, that 5 p.m. game, I could definitely see that game maybe in the 60s.
maybe I was going
Um,
to say in the low four. That's a good Big Ten matchup there. You're going to
yeah,
see
Big Ten's a
it's
way
going to be
good
it's going to
analogy.
be 14-12 at halftime or something like that.
Nope.
So,
Big
but
Ten's a perfect analogy for those two. It's going to be a lot of
yeah,
fun. But then, yeah, then and they play similar, styles and tempos. And then, you got contrasting styles in that Northwestern Georgetown game. And then you got, we mentioned a little bit, I didn't set you up because I wanted to make sure he was hurt first, but you really like the Cumberland team in our opening round show. And,
I did.
as good as Anthony Johnson's playing, National Player of the Year candidate, they really look good in those first two games, and I'm eager to see them in person as well.
Yeah, they look good coming down the stretch too. I mean, that's a
Yep.
team that really those last couple weeks they're playing as good as anybody. So I still think that could be a very interesting game for sure. And they're coming in playing their best basketball, which from a coaching perspective, that's what you want. But they are going up against obviously a very very good team in Arizona Christian. So That one could be on the higher end in the scoring range as well, but we'll kind of
Yeah.
see how that plays out.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah, I know. Arizona Christian, since Hudgens went out, has not played as fast, but certainly could open up a little bit, and it'll be
yeah,
interesting to see who can control that tempo a little bit on that one, and how Arizona Christian decides to play that one, because we know Cumberland's going to get after it. I think they come
yeah,
in as the top scoring team left, but they were third in the country in scoring and points per game, and I think
yeah.
it's a lot of fun in that one, and then moving over to even Friday's matchups. We have the 1 p.m. matchup with Freed Hardeman and Life. That's a matchup that was a 5-point game, I believe, on December 13th when these two matched up, and I think two National Player of the Year candidates, maybe in Peyton Law and Chase Harris, and just a really fun 1 p.m. matchup on Friday coming at you. And then 3 p.m. you alluded to it. It's a 7 seed Kaiser versus 11 seed Southern Oregon. I always love these matchups. I know seeding can be whatever in the NEI, but anytime you don't have two teams, especially that have been here every year, and as you mentioned earlier, one of these teams is going to be moving on. I don't want to be biased here, but Kaiser was one of my Fab Four picks, so
Yeah, we're not.
I
We heard you. We heard
I
you.
hate to be wrong. So,
Did you
but
write down? I didn't write down. Did you write down who I said for the Final Four? I can't remember
I
who.
have it remember, but I don't have it with me, so
I can't
I do
remember who it
apologize.
was,
I know you did have Cumberland's and Georgetown, and I forget who you had on this side, but I'll have
think
to go
I
back and
yeah
look. And
yeah we'll have to go back
um,
and retest that out, see how it should played out. But you had
yep.
Kaiser, I know somebody.
I know. I think I have them and Georgetown left. I think that's it. But we won't go that far. But in the Dewar quadrant, though, Freed is the defending national champs and made it back. They this would be if they can repeat as champs, it'll be the first time since 2006 2007 that any team has gone back to back. That was the Oklahoma City squads back in the day. But Freed is a lot of fun and plays hard. And in life, they're I believe tied or maybe just behind Georgetown for total national championships with 3. So that's a lot of fun too. You got a program who is rich in tradition, who since the merger hasn't been able to make it this far, and here they are, and looking to restore some tradition. And one of the stories I want to tell, Coach, and I know maybe some of our people don't know, but we have a lot of sponsors. That every team's sponsored here. And I know there's some battles and trading and stuff that goes on with the host or the host sponsors trying to get the teams they want. I was talking to Coach Briggs earlier today, which at Georgetown, which was really cool. They've had the same sponsor almost every year that they've been here, and their sponsor has gotten so close to them that they actually go out to Kentucky and watch them play a few times. And they were up in Morningside in their opening round games last year to watch them, and so it's cool to see those relationships build up too. But I say that because the teams that like a Life who has had good tradition inside this building, and back to when it was 2 divisions and they were Division 1. It's cool to see the sponsors who remember them being back or being from 10 15 years ago. I can't remember, it was 2017, I think, last time maybe they were here, and still trying to get them back,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
remember, even new coaches, new stuff, but cool to see the sponsors, and I think the sponsors are a big part of this, and I wanted to give them a shout out as well.
Yeah, no, and it's really amazing what they do for these teams too, and the teams, I think, for the sponsors as well. It's just a great thing that the NAIA has carried through. They used to do it. D2 and D1 side used to both do it, and now see it carried through to this tournament, and just that's been a tradition. And I think it also just a good reflection, right, of how the NAIA operates, right? It's just a community-based, family-based, organization, and the way that they blend sponsorship and development of these kids. And I think it's a good thing for the kids to see too, like community members really putting their money behind this tournament and getting involved. That's a good model from an education perspective for the kids too. So all around, there's just wins all around with this tournament. I mean, it's nonstop. So love hearing those kind of stories.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I wanted to do that. And before we move on to the list quadrant, I think since we talked about Life a little bit, we'll go ahead and move into our coaches conversation with Coach Easley from Life. Joining us for our preview show is Coach Easley out of Life University. Coach, welcome. As you can see, we're in the Simple Auditorium. First off, congratulations on getting here. Second of all, got to mean a lot to your guys to be here, and especially the season you guys went through, and then going on the road as a higher seed and all that. What's it mean for you guys to be here?
It obviously it's cool to be here. It's a cool experience for our guys, but we're not just happy to be here. Like we feel like we belong. We feel like we've got as good a chance as anybody to cut down the nets. Obviously, we have a formidable opponent in front of us. We're not going to overlook them. They beat us earlier in the year. It was a 5-point game, but the game was probably a little bit closer than that. After that game, we won 18 out of 20. That game, we look back. We always talked about what game we could look back to feel like that was the game that propelled us. And I remember looking at our guys in the locker room and how disappointed they were. But I told them, hey, don't hold your head down. That's one of the best teams in the country. We went toe to toe with them. Like we have a chance to be really good. And I think at that point was a turning point. So, that was a long-winded way of saying we are excited about the opportunity to be here and to be able to have people see us nationally.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about your program. This is a live program that has a rich tradition and history, and has won some games inside this building as well, including national titles. What's it mean for your program and the school itself, just to be back here and to have life, as one of the top 16 teams right now in the country, but hopefully even higher.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's 3 national championships, 2 national runner-ups, and it's been really cool to have a lot of the coaches and a lot of people that have been here for a long time to come up to me and say, hey, we're glad you guys are back up here. It's kind of those things that I talked about this earlier on another podcast. It's like, when the Lakers and Celtics are good, then basketball is good. So I kind of had that kind of feeling, when they were saying that, because I know, life has been perennial powers and we've been close to getting here a few times. And I think this was kind of a destiny thing for us this year. Obviously, we had a really good season and some really good players and buying into what our culture is. And we're, fortunate enough to go on the road and knock off, and I say go on the road, but knock off a team in the round of 32, Indiana Wesleyan, who was extremely good.
Yeah, another tradition-rich program, and don't lose inside Lucky Arena very often. And especially like that. I mean, you guys definitely played a great game and ran away with that one. And you guys, before we get into specific players here, you guys went the transfer route this past year, and that's kind of the norm. I would say kind of trending towards the norm of college basketball right now. Lots of ways to win basketball games, and I think that's what the cool part about NAIA basketball is that you have a lot of teams built differently. What makes you guys in the transfer portal so strong? And obviously you got a couple good ones out of the portal, and maybe one who we'll see on 94 feet later, maybe in the Player of the Year race.
Yeah, I'll say this, and we talk about it, you see all the time. Fast 40, our offense. We changed it 3 years ago, and we wanted to bring players in that fit our system. And at that point, we didn't care if it was high schoolers or we didn't really care. That first year of this in the Southern States, we went 20-10, I believe, and we started 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and a junior, the youngest team in the country. And we got to the first round of the national tournament. We lost to 2-seed Florida College by 2. We led the whole entire game. Last year, we kind of got snubbed, which led me, we lost some of those guys to the transfer portal. I couldn't recruit high school kids to keep this thing going. I knew we were on the brink of being able to get over the hump. So, us as a staff, we met, we talked about it, and we identified some guys that we wanted, and, very fortunate, to get a Tyreek Johnson from Shawnee State. And, he threw an assist, didn't realize Chase was still available. So we were fortunate to get those 2 guys. And then those 2 guys coming had instant chemistry from being teammates. That helped out a ton when you can bring some guys that had some veteran leadership, to your team that already had like a connection. And then, obviously Cortez Johnson, he was a transfer, one of the top rebounders in all of junior college last year. He made first team all league this year. He's a tremendous transfer as well for us. So, we've got, tons of guys that I could talk about, but, being going in the transfer portal, getting those 3 guys, we knew we would have an opportunity to play deep in the March.
Yeah, and certainly it played out well. Some guys when they go to the transfer portal, it doesn't always work out. But as I mentioned with Chase, you guys got one of the should be one of the finalists for National Player of the Year. And also I will say that sometimes your best recruiters are your own team,
Absolutely.
your players on your own team anyway. So bringing Chase in this year, um, you know this is a tournament, and I know that you're no stranger to it. I'm sure you've heard a lot of stories in the past and stuff too. But when you have a guy like Chase, and obviously you have other guys, but when you have a guy like Chase who can just take over a game, and the way he does it, it's not just a scoring mentality. He makes the players around him better too. So when he drives, how hard is it for defense to match up to a guy like that? And obviously it's probably no secret late in the game. You're probably letting him have the ball in his hands because that's what you do with a National Player of the Year candidate. But what's the meaning for a guy like that, and the impact of winning a guy like that can have.
The biggest trait he has is his competitive spirit. He's probably the most competitive kid that I've had since I've been here. I think all the accolades that he's gotten have been tremendous, but he would trade all of those for a championship. Like when it comes down, the lights come on, he's ready to play, and having a guy like that, as unselfish as he is, and the only thing he wants to do is win. He loves to see other guys get shots. He loves to see other guys get opportunities. It's nothing for him to get in the lane. People collapse on him finding shooters. And, his assist to turnover ratio is off the chart.
Yeah.
Third in the nation in assists. And he knows that he has some really good guys around him. And I think early in the season, it took him a little bit to figure out how to get those guys the ball and to really trust them. And when that happened, I think that's when our team really took a big leap.
Yeah.
So having a guy like that obviously is good. You walk into a game, you feel like you got a good chance to win when you've got a player like that.
Yeah, and this tournament, and just like the March Madness NCAA one, you see players of that caliber be able to take over games and win a lot of games, and certainly can put a team like yourselves on a big streak here. 4 games, and you guys get 4 games in 5 days. So, what mentality are you guys taking in? I know it's one game at a time, but what is the bigger picture for you guys? I know you don't want to win a title, but how do you guys approach that?
One game season. We don't look past. I don't even know who we're playing in the round after this. So we don't look past that. We go and we dissect film and we figure out those teams' weaknesses. And it's fortunate for us that we get to go back and watch opponent that we've already played.
Yep.
So that's kind of been our approach, is just going in and analyzing statistics and tendencies and things like that we feel like could help us win the game. And again, we want to take it play by play. We know it's a 40-minute game. We know we're playing a really, really good team, and for us to just come out here and be the best version of ourselves,
Yep.
which is really all we can ask our guys. And if they do that for 40 minutes, we can live with whatever result that is.
Yeah, and so the Southern States Athletic Conference is what you guys play in. A couple of years removed from Loyola Talladega, when Talladega goes in the league, all SSAC finals. The league's had some success here when they've gotten here, so we're wishing you guys the best of luck. I know you guys will come prepared, ready to play in the opening round here. But Coach, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
94 feet inside Muni with Life's Chase Harris. We're going to go ahead and ask you the first question, Chase. Where are you originally from here?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I live in the Bedford area,
Okay.
but I grew up in Cleveland.
So with you attending Life this year, how'd you get to Life?
Well, I hit the transfer portal at my last school, and then I was really looking for a place to go, but I didn't have the grades to go exactly where I wanted to go. So my teammate from Shawnee, Tyreek Johnson, he hit me up. He already had committed here and showed me the school and everything, so I was pretty aware of the situation, but I didn't know like how it really was. So that's what really brought me here.
Yeah, well, it's really worked out for you. You're having a tremendous season here. What, as you look around Municipal Auditorium and you heard this at the symposium, the history and stuff of this building, what's it mean for you to come in here and play?
It means a lot because last year we made it to the last game and we lost to Madonna. So it means a lot to win and actually be able to come to Kansas City.
Well, I know it's a little bit colder here today. I know it's supposed to warm up the rest of the week, but I know you're from Ohio, so you're a little spoiled down there in Georgia. But did you bring enough warm clothes for you?
No, I didn't bring any.
What music do you have on the headphones in the pregame?
It's like a variety. It's mostly rap. Unless it's like if I'm feeling good, I might play R&B, but mostly I'm playing rap.
Okay.
Young boy.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
can dig that. All right. What's if any family coming out or anything?
My family they might attend.
Cool.
They're still going through if they're getting their flights or not.
Yep, I got you. It's a little bit tough in the Midwest for flights right now,
Yeah.
but that'll be it. But I appreciate you joining. This is 94 feet inside Municipal Auditorium with Life's Chase Harris.
Thank you. Thanks.
Always cool to see, like I said, teams that have been here before, even though Coach Easley was not the coach. He's got life back. And when you have a National Player of the Year candidate like Chase Harris, who can just beat you in so many different ways, it makes you dangerous this time of year. So eager to see what they can do against the defending national champs, Freed Hardeman on Friday. Before we'll jump into the listening quadrant, before we talk about one of our favorite matchups of the right side of the bracket per se, but LSU Alexandria going to be facing off against Bethel again at 5 p.m. on Friday, and then the 7 p.m. game is number 3, the 3-seeded Baker against 7-seeded Oklahoma Wesleyan. Coach, anything stand out in the listen quadrant for you?
I mean, I just think, I've been an LSUA fan since the beginning of the year, and I think they have a shot to win it for sure. And so I think he's done an amazing job there. Bethel coming out of a battle-tested conference. I mean, they've been toe-to-toe at the top of the crossroads, so they know what it takes to. And then I've just been really impressed how Oklahoma Wesleyan has found their way back. There was some moments during the year where they were on the ropes big time, and somehow Coach Bostwick's figured it out, and they got him back rolling. So here they are, and that's a big testament. Baker, it's really cool to see that story. I know we had him on earlier in the year, and a lot of historical things related to that school too. So it's good to have them be an ingredient in this tournament. But fun storylines all the way throughout this second day of action. I mean, you can look, like you said, those first 2 games, there's cool storylines, and then you move into the evening and it just finishes up with more of the same. So it should be a great day of hoops on Friday.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Oakwu Baker matchup, and Coach Dooley is doing a great job there. I would imagine from watching their not just the Hart championship, but also the opening round games that were in Baldwin City, Kansas. I would imagine that there will be some students here inside Muni, and that atmosphere will be pretty crazy. I don't know if they have a student section name. Somebody can reach out to us if they do, but I will tell you, one of the more fun environments watching the opening round games, because they were loud, proud, and deep. I mean, I don't know how high those bleachers go, but they were from the floor all the way to the top, and provide a lot of good moments for Baker as well.
Yeah, I love seeing that. That there's nothing like that. You can't replace that anymore. So it's really cool to see.
Well, and we talked to Coach Stutz at Freed earlier too, and what he said earlier, or said about last year, when they were on their national championship run, their baseball team didn't even have a game scheduled, during this week, and scheduled one in Kansas just so that they could bring their entire team out here. And I thought it played a big part in them winning the national championship too. They were out here all week long, and when you have this place, I wish it would fill up more with just normal fans too. But when you get a students in here, it gets loud, and I think that if we'll see if the baseball team's doing that again for free. But I thought they played a big part of their national championship last year, and we'll see if some of these programs around, especially a Kansas one, which is a short drive over, if that adds to the environment over these first 2 days.
Yeah, it is fun to see. I remember back in the day when they used to march the little kids buses into the Ozarks and stuff like that. All those things are really cool. They do that there in Municipal too, and
games,
I love seeing that. I mean, you get all those kids with signs, and they don't know the first thing about what they're looking at. They're just having a good time, and but it is funny when they come in. Some of them really rally around a certain team,
Yeah.
and it can really like surprisingly move the needle. And you're like, "Whoa, hang on! I didn't know we were playing a road game here. What we do to you? What we do to the fifth graders to tick them off? You know?"
Yep.
So, but
And usually it's
I
just
love it.
whoever's dunking the best in pregame warmups.
Yes, yes, that's all that matters, right? So flush it down and knock in some Steph Curry range threes, and you got 100 fifth graders in your corner rooting and hollering for you. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but always add to the matchup, or always add to the atmosphere. I mean, and really cool. I'm glad you brought up that part because it is another cool aspect of this. Usually in the afternoon games when they're at school, they get a little field trip over here, and usually get to
yes,
watch a game or two and head back home. But always a lot of fun. And 94 feet inside Muni with Georgetown head coach Chris Briggs. Coach, this has basically been a routine trip for you guys almost every year. You've won some national titles inside this arena. What's been your favorite moment? I know there's probably been a lot of them, but what's your favorite
It's a
moment?
lot of them. Just a special arena, wonderful place, wonderful people out here in Kansas City. We've made great friends over the years. A few families in particular very special to us. They know who they are, the Williams family, the Kissick family. So always blessed to be back in Kansas City.
Yeah, you and I talked at the beginning of the year about one of your managers, Remy. We just talked about, you know, you guys playing that tournament at Park in honor of him, but also
Right.
in preparation for this. What has been the journey like been this year for starting at the tournament and getting to where you wanted to be here?
Right. Well, I obviously always want to honor Remy and go play in the tournament at Park. And Kristen, AD out there, does a great job with that. So we'll be a part of that every time they do it to honor Remy, such a special young man that we had. And since then, our team has just put in the work. Come work hard every day, play hard, play unselfish, play together, play Georgetown basketball, as we say. Hang your head on your defense and be tough. And they bought into that. And that's brought us out here to Kansas City again.
Yeah, your team's been really sharing the ball well, really playing really good defense, and two things that play well inside this arena. I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know,
Right.
but a couple fun questions for you.
Uh-huh.
What's the favorite food when you're here in Kansas City?
Oh man, so many places. We went out to Chapels the other night to the sports bar, the Italian restaurants out here. Obviously, the barbecue, Joe's, Arthur Bryant's,
Yeah,
Gates. We go to Gates. We hit them all. We've been here a lot, so we like them all.
yeah. What's your favorite hobby when you're not coaching?
Hanging with my daughters. Got two daughters, 13 and 10, into volleyball, dance class, dance stuff like that. They like to play a little golf in the summer.
Okay, nice.
Just hang with my daughters, my wife, take them to the beach, have fun, relax, do some recruiting with my feet in the ocean.
Got 94 feet inside Muni with College of Idaho All-American Drew Wyman. Drew, as we get going here, the toughest question for you to start with, favorite food.
Favorite food? It's got to be a good potluck dinner.
Okay, potluck. What do you bring to the potluck?
I'm bringing mashed potatoes with a good amount of butter.
Okay. What's your major?
Biomedical science.
Yeah. What do you want to be?
Physician assistant.
Okay. Yeah. You've won a national title inside this building. You've been back 4 years in a row now. One, what's it mean to be back? But two, what are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, it's awesome being back. I mean, we've been fortunate enough to win our games and get here in a pretty electric environment with fans showing out. We're just hoping to take it one game at a time and get the wins and get to the national championship again.
Yeah. What will we miss most about playing in a Yotes uniform?
I'm gonna miss the Yote fan community. Playing at home was something really special, and they supported us so much. So I'm gonna miss those relationships the most.
Yeah. What will you miss most about playing with Coach Blaine or playing for Coach Blaine?
Coach Blaine, I mean, it's mostly going to be off the court stuff. He invests in us so much, and so I'm going to miss just having him there every day in my life and pushing me to be a better person all around.
Top Coach Blaine impression? Got one?
No.
That's 94 feet with Drew Wyman of College of Idaho. We are back with a 94 feet segment with LSU Alexandria head coach Demario Jackson. Coach, we were talking a little bit off camera. You posted a picture of this arena when you first took the job at LSUA for motivation to get here. What has it been like now that you're actually here?
Oh man, we understand that last year we fell short of being able to get here. So some extra motivation going into this season. One of our goals was to be able to get to this moment. Now, it's not just about getting here; it's also about getting things done and being national champions.
Yeah, 4 games in 5 days. I know you're no stranger to that with the LC or with the Louisiana State High School basketball tournament
Yeah,
being a big beast that
for
is.
sure.
What's this compared to that?
And then I'll even compare it to our conference tournament where you play 3 games in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, we have a lot of guys on our team that has kind of been in those kind of situations.
Yep.
So I'm not really afraid of it.
Yeah.
So, and at the end at this part of the season, man, it's just about getting it done. Everybody has to play those amount of games and, in those days. So there's no excuses. It's just about getting it done.
Well, you got the Cash Nat, Player of the Year candidate, and obviously a lot of good guys around him. What's it going to be mean to be able to coach those guys for one more week here?
Oh man, it's everything, man. It means the world, man. We have a great group of young men, starting with Cashy and moving on down the roster. Those guys have accepted every challenge that we've given them. So to see them, to have them be able to get this moment, and I know they're gonna take full advantage of it, man. It's amazing, man. God is good.
Okay, well, one personal question for you: what's on the headphones pregame?
Ooh. I mean, I think everybody that know me know I listen to NBA YoungBoy.
Okay, yeah,
For sure.
it's actually a popular one on this
Oh,
end.
for
So,
sure.
well, Coach, I appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the week. This is Coach Amaro Jackson, LSU Alexandria, 94 feet inside Muni.
Thank you.
Going a little bit deeper here, Coach. I know that we try to stay partisan a little bit here, but let's keep it to this one. What is the most intriguing potential? We'll go quarterfinals first, and then we'll go semifinals matchup. We won't predict anything, but what would be the most intriguing matchup in the quarterfinals for you? I know I put you on a spot on this one. You want me to take it first?
You go first. I gotta process this real quick. You go first. So
Yeah, I'll start with I don't know that I don't know that um as fact is like I'm not predicting a winner here by any means, but one matchup I would love to see, just moving on is like a Grace Cumberland's matchup in the quarterfinals. I think two teams that can really score the ball, two teams that play or that actually move the ball around on offense. Grace leads the country in assists per game. You got Ian Scott from Grace, who's National Player of the Year candidate against Anthony Johnson out of Cumberland's. Not same position, but as far as guarding each other, but just in the same game. As far as the quarterfinal matchup, not saying that will happen, but if it happened, it would be a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna probably go to I think I'd like to see just kind of like to see more than anything would be a College of Idaho versus Northwestern. I think that could be a pretty intriguing matchup. Just thinking about all the different ingredients there, personnel wise and style wise and everything else. I think I'd like to see that one. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, again, we could go all day probably on
yeah,
talking about potential matchups as well, but yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I'm not going to say anything about teams that predicted. I think a fun semifinal game, potential semifinal game, and I'm going to go away from Kaiser as they were my Fab Four pick, but
you
I would
sure?
love to see if
I didn't think that was allowed. I don't know, Chief.
I know, but
Chief and you
but
have some kind of deal going, but
I'm not predicting them to. I'm not predicting this matchup, but I will say one of the coolest matchups would be a Freed Hardeman LSUA rematch. Alexandria handed Freed their first loss of the year. Earlier
yeah.
on in this year, and at Freed, I believe. And it was just an awesome matchup. A lot of free throws because both teams play physical and get after you defensively. But I can tell you on this court behind me, Coach, I'm not sure there will be many free throws. There's going to be a grown man game and who can finish at the rim. And I think that would be an awesome matchup, rematch to see. If it happened, it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you took mine, so thanks.
You're
But
welcome. I aim to please there.
and I'm gonna balance myself out here and say I'd like to see a Langston Grace matchup is one that I'd like to see. So
Yeah.
I'd be very curious to see those two styles and teams go against each other, and all the different ingredients, and certainly a difference in coaching styles as well. With those two coaches, and but both have won a gajillion games over the years, right? So would be fun to see those two go at it again.
Yeah, no doubt. It's this is one of those I think one of those years, and I know I've talked to several coaches about this, and I do truly believe that they think this isn't just one of those they're saying it to say neutral things, but this tournament, this year's tournament, I think out of the 16 teams left is as wide as open as we've had since the merger. There's the past couple years, even the favorites didn't win it, every
Yeah.
year. But at the same time, like I feel like going into Kansas City, there was always one or two teams that everybody kind of had circled. Um, and this is kind of the year maybe you have six or seven teams that I think really could win this one. And a lot of it's just going to be matchups and game flow and fouls and health, all the way through the board.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. You don't know. I mean, you hope everybody comes through clean, but yeah, I mean, by my count, I certainly see, seven or eight of those teams that, boy, you've been saying all year they got a shot, and I still think they have a shot. And then
Yeah.
I also love when Giants fall. So I'd love to see, somebody make some noise. I'd love to see your boys at Kaiser make a run and
you know,
figure it
I,
out. But
I'll leave it with this, and we have a new segment this year, 94 feet. You've seen a couple already on the show, and and then you'll see a couple more here, but and then I think you'll see some throughout the week, especially on Sunday for the Fab Four. We're saving some of those, but really fun segment. We obviously stole from other people, nothing that we did anything new, but really fun interviews and in the 94 feet segment. And I just want to say, one of my favorites about Kaiser is the nicknames. You got their head coach and Chief Bryant, and then you have a Bobo, and then you have a Speedy. And it's just the things you get to know through this tournament, like that. And obviously I knew Bobo and Speedy throughout the year, but it's just fun stories and fun things to talk about, and fun interviews all the way across the board.
yeah, no, it is. And I'm sure if you got, on a bus ride or relax in the hotel with any one of these teams, you'd hear all kinds of stuff like that, and some nicknames we could share and others stay in the locker room. But it's there's all those. That's the other fun thing about this is one team's leaving there happy, 15 are leaving there disappointed, but they're all going to leave there with great stories. Right? They're going to find somewhere in these next 2 or 3 days, whatever it is, it's going to be totally unrelated to what happens on the court. There's going to be a funny moment. There's going to be a cool outing. There's going to be a great story to share that they're going to find. And I just hope that all these kids and coaches and sponsors and everybody's on the hunt for those memories, because that's the stuff that lasts, and really, I know most of those coaches personally, and I know that's where their heart's at too. And it's going to be really, those are the memories that these kids will stick with. And yeah, there'll probably be a game winner or two, and there's going to be some amazing basketball played. But that won't be the only thing that leaves Kansas City this weekend. So I'm excited for that for those kids too.
No, well said. It's I'll just piggyback off that and leave it with it was amazing throughout my coaching, and I know you're probably the same way. I think back to the times where there was first snow and people jumped in that never seen snow before, or teams that maybe hop on, or players that hop on their first flight ever.
Yeah.
First time in Kansas, maybe for a lot of these people, a lot of these kids, maybe first and only time. You just never know where life's going to take some of these people from here. And you said it, the experiences they're going to get through here, no matter win or lose, coming out here. Only one team is going to remain happy, but a lot of teams, like you said, are going to have some great experiences coming out of here.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you hope for sure. And I think by design, again, just big shout out to the NAIA, all the work that goes in from their staff to put on, if you really think about what those people do, it's all about serving these student athletes. And so it's really amazing to see all the work. So big shout out to the NAIA, to all the sponsors, to the whole community around Municipal Auditorium, and just all the hands on making this a great experience for these kids and for the overall community. It definitely is a cornerstone event for the NAI, and something they have a lot to be proud of, and all the work
Yeah.
that they've done to make this a great tournament. Always, but definitely since the merge, it just keeps getting better. And I don't think we can say enough praise towards the NAI and what they do. And I know the coaches and players all appreciate it. So
Yeah, no doubt. One of the best things, and we mentioned earlier, and I'll leave with this, is that you talked about getting better each year. I truly believe to grow the game, offering the free tournament and finding a sponsor that was willing to provide that is huge.
Huge. Yeah, I agree.
I can't talk about, or can't even tell you how many times or how many DMs and messages and stuff we've gotten about just the fact, that pure fact, since we put out a tweet earlier today on Wednesday here. So many people are already happy that it's going to be in, and I know that when you have a good product, you want to put it out there, and this is a really good product, and it continues to get better each year. And I think that after the entire tournament's free this year on the Urban Edge Network and the NAIA Network, I think a lot of people are going to hopefully continue to see how good NAIA basketball really is. And I encourage you, if you're watching this, you probably are going to watch the NAIA tournament. Let's just be honest. But, let me just tell you that too, that if you have people out there that you've been trying to tell that how good NAIA basketball is too, send them the link to tell them to watch it. But I know you and I will be watching, Coach. I know that we're excited for a lot of these. You and I both know a lot of these coaches, and it's it's exciting. But this is our last one of the year, Coach, and I always appreciate you and all the work you do. I know that I pay you top dollar to come do this.
It's really, it's amazing.
But
if you fired me, I wouldn't know what to do financially. So, but
I figured at this point, that's why we continue to bring you back. So
yeah, it's a privilege, and I love these kids and coaches and the whole tournament and the whole organization, the NAIA. So anything I can do to be a support to that and an encouragement, it's certainly a privilege from my perspective. And as long as you keep inviting me back, I'm happy to be your wingman. Everybody on the planet Earth knows you do all the work. I do next to nothing other than show up once a week, chit chat about games I watch. But no, awesome job again, great season, and wish everybody the best this week. And can't wait. I'll be tuning in online for sure, and messaging with a bunch of the coaches, I'm sure. But boy, what an amazing season! It's going to end well, I'm sure.
No doubt. Well, until next year, maybe we'll do some off-season stuff. But
yeah.
For sure, we will see you next year. This is one last time, Coach Leberson Jr. signing off.